Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's meeting. As always, the meeting is streamed on YouTube and will also be available on Facebook and the Village's website. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask Clerk Saladino to call the roll.
Trustee Augustine.
Here.
Trustee Gale.
Here.
Trustee McGee.
Here.
Trustee O'Brien.
Here.
Trustee Peterson.
Here.
Trustee Thompson.
Here.
President Kugler.
Here, and we have not only a quorum, but the full board, so thank you all for attending tonight. Clerk Saladino, I'd ask you to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and everyone please stand.
Please stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have something special tonight, and that is recognition of General Utility Worker Milo Gojic. What's it? Gojic. Milo Gojic on his 25 years of dedicated service to the village of Grange. I'd like to invite Milo up to the podium to be recognized. I know Milo will end with a song, but before we go there, we have to talk about him a little bit. On January 10th, 2025, Milo reached his 25th year of service with the village. Milo began his career with the village as a general utility worker in the Public Works Department. Throughout his career, he's played an important role in many water and sewer main repairs, including this year, and has responded to both flooding and weather emergencies at any time, both day or night. Milo skillfully handles many diverse responsibilities, and throughout his career, he has truly excelled in customer service. Milo has worked throughout the village on a myriad of tasks, and is very knowledgeable about the public works operations. In the last few years, he's become a certified arborist, which has been extremely helpful in the proper pruning and removal of smaller parkway trees throughout town, as well as training new employees in the skill set. He's been a participant, along with me and some of the trustees, in the annual Arbor Day tree planting ceremony with local schools, and has worked closely with the Garden Club on the annual spring and fall flower planting programs. The annual Arbor Day is always a fun event, and Milo makes it really fun. Milo routinely goes out of his way to provide superior assistance to residents and others who request his help. He is well known for supporting village board meetings, providing seamless support for room setup, operations, and takedown. Taking this service to the next level, he has also shared the gift of his voice, having sung some opera as well as national anthem to delight of those around him. He has a genuine warmth and caring nature, which is apparent to all those he interacts with. These qualities have made Milo beloved by many among the village staff and throughout the community. It's my pleasure to share just a few things it's my pleasure to share just a few of the things that makes the village of Grange fortunate to count Milo as one of the outstanding employees, and we are grateful for his service.
Thank you very much. I feel as I'm with my family. These 25 years made me so proud to be here, and I really appreciate all this relation between every of us, of you guys, and the police, and the fire, the residents. And I really try to do the best what I can at outside, especially tree pruning, tree removal, these storms, what is really difficult to accomplish well, but thank God for all this strength and knowledge, what I learned here. And I really so proud as I am only bird, my family is not here, nobody. So you guys are my family. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Milo. Now he promised a song.
Yes. Che bella cosa, una giornata e sole, un'aria serena dopo una tempesta, che l'aria fresca pareggia una festa, che bella cosa, una giornata e sole, tu sole, più bello in me, o sole mio, sta in fronte a te, o sole mio, sta in fronte a te, sta in fronte a te. Thank you again.
Milo, thank you very much. We truly appreciate your hard work, dedication, and professionalism. The second item we have is a proclamation celebrating the 150th anniversary for the Village of Riverside. The Village of Riverside is celebrating the 150th anniversary of its incorporation this year. I was in the attendance at the beginning of their sesquicentennial anniversary on January 15th with an opening ceremony held at the historic water tower located in their Centennial Plaza. A proclamation celebrating the 150th anniversary of the Village of Riverside has been drafted and goes, whereas the origins of Riverside began in the mid-19th century when the area was primarily rural and sparsely populated, whereas in 1868, a group of prominent businessmen led by financier Emery Childs was interested in developing a residential community in the countryside outside of Chicago, and in their search discovered a large parcel of land on the Des Moines River owned predominantly by David Gage, and whereas in partnership with David Gage, the Riverside Improvement Company was formed for the purpose of developing 1,600 acres. Whereas the Riverside Improvement Company, being familiar with Frederick Law Olmsted and his partner, architect Calvert Vaux, and their work in Central Park in New York City, Prospect Park in Brooklyn, and their pending work for Chicago South Parks, hired Olmsted to design the suburban community of Riverside. And whereas Olmsted, who is later credited with being the father of landscape architecture, believed that in order to have a rich and fulfilling life, one needed to be surrounded by nature, and in holding to this belief, set out to create a new community that would illustrate his idea of harmony with nature and agreeably combine rural and urban advantages. Whereas Olmsted set out to implement these innovative design principles, which included a layout featuring curvilinear streets that followed the natural contours of the lands, expansive green spaces, and strategically placed parks. And whereas the development of this land also included provisions for modern amenities such as gas lighting, sewer systems, and water supplies. And whereas the company's vision attracted early settlers who were drawn to the picturesque and well-ordered environment, leading to Riverside becoming a thriving community by the early 1870s and setting the stage for its formal incorporation. Whereas on August 8th, 1875, Riverside was officially incorporated as a village, a pivotal moment that established Riverside as an independent municipal entity with its own government. And whereas Riverside is widely regarded as one of the first planned communities in the country and the realization of Olmsted's vision for an ideal suburban community. And whereas Riverside's commitment to preserving its historical heritage and landscape design has endured over the decades, making it a living testament to 19th century planning ideals and an early example of suburban development that has influenced communities across the nation. And whereas to this day, the Village of Riverside continues to embody the ideals held dear by its founding fathers. And whereas the Village of Riverside continues its positive influence on communities throughout the region and can be counted upon to be collaborative and supportive partners to other municipalities, including the Village of LaGrange. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Village of LaGrange, in recognition of the joyous occasion of celebrating its 150th anniversary of the Village of Riverside, does hereby extend its heartfelt congratulations and sincere wishes for continued prosperity for the next 150 years and beyond to the Village of Riverside. So please join me in applause, I guess. Thanks. Do we need to vote on that proclamation, or is the proclamation enough? Anybody looking to vote, or are we moving on? Okay. We like to celebrate these milestones along with our neighbors, and we do look forward to joining Riverside in more of their events that are going to be held from now until August. The last one, I think, was held on the coldest day of the year, so it can only get warmer. And Trustee O'Brien and Village Manager Knight were there, cold as well. Moving on, and this is to talk a little bit about traffic. Again, due to 47th and East Avenue construction, light signalization. Several village staff members met with representatives of IDOT and Cook County Department of Transportation and Highways to discuss the intersection and the construction project, as well as the concerns raised by our residents, as well as all of the board and the staff. We're all concerned about the cut-through traffic. The meeting, though, with Cook County and IDOT was very productive. We continue to push for the closure at Plainfield Road for northbound East Avenue traffic. IDOT engineers have committed to reviewing the proposed closure and will be letting us know the results of their assessment shortly. In addition, they've also committed to reaching out to the mapping programs, such as Google Maps, to ensure that the construction is properly reflected on those platforms. At the time of the meeting, it wasn't. And so, again, those Google Maps, Waze, those things were still directing people northbound on East Avenue. So we do appreciate everyone's patience as we work collaboratively with our partners to address the concerns that have been raised. We'll continue to push forward on that. With that, I'd ask that there's a village manager report.
There is. Thank you, President Kukler, and good evening, everyone. Just a couple of items for tonight. First off, we are in the midst of a winter, and that means winter and ice removal operations. During this time, Public Works crews work diligently to clear our village streets, sidewalks, and parking lots of snow and ice to make it safe for travel. Residents and visitors can aid in this process by observing on-street parking restrictions when snowfall exceeds 2 or more inches. Residents can also further assist their neighbors by clearing public sidewalks adjacent to their property and making sure that any area near fire hydrants is clear with about a 3-foot radius. Lastly, we are in the midst of our budgeting process. The village is continuing its budget development process for fiscal year starting May 1 of this year. As part of this process, capital projects workshop will be held on February 24th. Process will include a budget workshop on March 1st. All are welcome to participate, review our budget, and share their thoughts about it. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Village Manager Knight. Village Clerk Saladino, I'd request that you read the items on the consent agenda, and we do not have anything under current business, I don't believe.
Matters on the consent agenda will be considered by a single motion and vote because they already have been considered fully by the board at a previous meeting or have been determined to be of a routine nature. Any member of the Board of Trustees may request that an item be moved from the consent agenda to current business for separate consideration. Item A, a resolution approving the purchase of a cold mix heater from Sherwin Industries, Inc. Item B, a resolution authorizing the purchase of a 2025 Carlton 7500 tow-behind stump grinder from Alexander Equipment Company, Inc. Item C, a resolution approving the purchase of a 2025 Vermeer brush chipper from Vermeer Midwest. Item D, a resolution authorizing closed session minutes, determining the need to keep minutes of certain closed meetings of the Village Board confidential and authorizing the destruction of verbatim recordings of certain closed meetings of the Village Board. Item E, minutes of the Village of Grange Board of Trustees meeting Monday, January 13th, 2025. And item F, January 27th, 2025, consolidated voucher.
Thank you, Clerk Saladino. I'd at this time entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda and a second.
I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you, Trustee Gale. Second. Thank you, Trustee McGee. Any comments?
As previously stated, I will recuse myself from voting on any agenda items related to the village prosecutor.
Thank you. Seeing no other comments, I would ask for a roll call vote.
Trustee Thompson. Trustee Peterson.
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien.
Aye.
Trustee Augustine.
Aye.
Trustee McGee.
Aye.
Trustee Gale.
Aye.
And I apologize. I think I was supposed to ask if there were any comments regarding items on tonight's agenda. That, again, is just a consent agenda. So if there are, please come up. Okay, moving on. Now there would be the time for public comments regarding matters not on tonight's agenda.
Hi, Becky Lorenzen from Community Diversity Group. Just a reminder that the Building Inclusive Communities Conference is coming up on February 8th, which is a week from Saturday. So I think you all had the information that was announced last time. So just encouraging everybody who's available to come and join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Becky.
My name's John Pluto. I live on East Avenue, 718. A long time ago, I talked to you about a sewer atlas possibly being put at the library. And I can't read something this small. I would like to ask your permission to see the sewer atlas that's at the Public Works Department.
Okay, what I recommend you do is contact Village Manager Knight, and he can discuss whether that's appropriate and allowed and things like that. And if it is, I'm sure he will be more than happy to arrange that.
Well, I can go two ways. I can FOIA the information, or I can, every time I go through Mr. Knight, I'm sorry, I get the door closed on me, and I don't feel like I have a fair shot at that. So
well, I'm sure you'll get a fair shot on this.
It's not sensitive information that's got the plans for the atomic bomb on it. I just want to see what's going on in my neighborhood. So
just so I'm clear, you want the schematics of where what streets sewers run down or something?
Well, the sewer atlas is a complete schematic of all the sewers, their elevations, which way they flow. I have a larger copy of it, in fact, of the street that Miss West lives on. And I want to see the Park District land and 49th Street by my house. I have a personal concern for that. The Park District is talking about doing a bunch of improvements there. And I think maybe some of the things they're thinking about might need to be rethought, because there is an awful lot of their stormwater comes off 49th Street and goes into our combination sewer that blocks, that causes 10th Avenue and 9th Avenue to back up, if you understand what I'm saying. I have pictures of the water that runs off of the handicap ramps there. There's 2 sewers in the park itself. I believe those connect to the combination sewer there as well. But before I can say that it's for sure, I have to see the diagram. And I think the park district needs to come with a green solution. Maybe you guys can help them with it. Some of that water could be funneled down to the parking lot that's at East Avenue. Maybe they could get some money for a brick lot down there. Maybe they could put brick lots along 49th Street there. And every little bit of water that comes out of that combination sewer at 49th is going to give the people on 10th Avenue, 9th Avenue, the 4th, 3rd depressions. It would help all of them out. There's a lot of water comes off that park. That park with 1 inch of rain produces 600,000 gallons of water. And the flow comes right that way. So that's why I'm asking that I would like to look at that particular part of the plan to see what's going on there and maybe convince them that we could work collectively to make the whole neighborhood better. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other public comments, I would ask if any trustees have any comments. Trustee Agassi.
Thank you, President Kukler. I just wanted to say, along the lines of the detours that have been problematic to the neighborhood that Mr. Pluto was just talking about, and that we've all been working hard on over the last few weeks, month. I met with some residents yesterday just to kind of drive around the neighborhood with them, and it was really helpful. It does appear as if our actions and just time have been making a bit of difference, and obviously there's more that we're trying to do that they are very much behind, and including better directions at the east at 47th or at Plainfield and LaGrange Road, where it doesn't really clearly tell you to turn left north onto LaGrange Road. At that point, it sends you up Plainfield, and then you go left up East Avenue, and then you have to go back through the neighborhood. So there's a real inadequacy at that intersection, I think. So a bigger sign, a few more signs. There's nothing on like the Little Joe's corner, just on the Buena Beef corner. So it's not super clear. It's not, I think, loud enough, and the residents I was driving around with seem to agree. And then, there's only so much that we can do on the big streets, but on the smaller streets, with continued police enforcement, there's been improvements. So, we hopefully continue doing that. But are there any other smaller measures that we can do on our own streets? And it's probably not possible, but is our temporary speed bumps a deterrent to trucks or cars? I know they're difficult for fire trucks and things like that, but in this case, would that not be a strong deterrent to some people speeding through because they are going very fast off 49th down that street? There's also, correct me if I'm wrong, there's 9th and 10th, and 10th is where the first stop sign is off of East. So they zip 2 blocks as fast as they can until they get to that first stop sign. And we witnessed a lot of people not fully stopping there. Could we put a temporary stop sign at 9th that would slow that up? So just little things that we could maybe do that might make a difference, even if we're just kind of in beta with these things. It might help. So, but again, it does seem like some of these measures are working. And I'm grateful to the village for all the work they've been doing with IDOT to try to control what we can outside of our powers, but to keep putting pressure on them. I know that the Park District has sent a letter asking for care and caution, because before we know it, it'll be Little League, it'll be summer camps, and that park is going to be busier than ever. There's going to be more kids and more cars. So if what we're worried about now with school and standard traffic is one thing, it's not going to get better. It's going to get, the patterns will change, and it's going to be, something else to kind of deal with on top of that. So from Little League to the park system to the everyday, let's just, hopefully we're keeping our heads in it and keeping the pressure on them.
Thank you. Seeing no other comments, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And the meeting is adjourned at 8:01, and we will follow up in 2 weeks.